and go and beat change. Let me talk about it, I get it poppin', you probably got a problem. Before they can stop me, gotta cut my power like I'm Amish. Hold the torch up high in the thick dark. The dream works no matter how bad the pics are. Cause I see how bad the globe is, but they don't know how bad our hope is. They don't know how bad we want this. It ain't where we at, boys, where we going.
What's going on, family? Welcome back to K.O.G's 100, the show where we have real topics, real talk about a very real Christ. My name is Nick. That music that you was just banging out to was KB's I Believe off his album, Tomorrow We Live. If you haven't copied it, go ahead and copy it. All right, let's go ahead and do what we came to do. Holla at y'all in a minute. All right, what's going on, family? I want us to look at a video together. I'm gonna quarterback this for you. It's a little kid that's going up the wrong side of the escalator, probably playing around or something. Now, I want you to imagine yourself as this kid or someone that you love as this kid. And when he gets to the top of that escalator, that's easily a 40-foot drop at the least. And that can kill a grown man on impact. But wait, it seems like there's a man that notices this kid that's coming over there to save him. But wait, before we got to ask ourselves the question, before he saves him, does he qualify to save him? Meaning, does he look like us? Is he black? Is he white? Is he red? Is he yellow? Is he African American? Is he European? Is he Filipino? You know, this is what leads us to our topic of the day. Is Christ racist? Now, recently I've been running to a lot of folks, you know, when I tell them about the gospel of Jesus Christ, they'd be like, hey, you know what? Christ is really black. Therefore, you know, we can't really believe everything that goes on in that Bible because, you know, we was oppressed by white men, so forth. And then, you know what? Hey, Christianity, that's a white man's religion, you know. It's only for white people. So, and anyway, I've been hearing all these crazy things concerning Christ. And I had to ask myself the question, is Christ racist? So, of course, you know, man, I began to pray on that thing and God sent me over to that book. And I began flipping the pages as usual and came up on John chapter 4. Now, in John chapter 4, we're talking about Christ and a Samaritan woman. Let me give you a little bit of backdrop between Jews, which Christ was, and the Samaritan. Now, Jews and Samaritans, they didn't get along. It was somewhat equivalent to how blacks and whites were in the 1960s and 50s. Very segregated, very violent when we came in contact with one another. Now, Jews and Samaritans, they was real serious with it, though. You know, Jews wouldn't go where the Samaritans was, and Samaritans wouldn't go where the Jews was at all. They couldn't even eat off the same plate, you feel me? Or they would get mocked and talked about. Now, all this was started from the Jewish perspective because Samaritans were not fully Jewish. They was mixed in with pagan people from other races, specifically the Assyrians. Now, this is a story. So Jesus is walking one day. He goes through the town where Samaritans are, and he's tired. And he sits at a well where the Samaritan woman is drawing water. And he asks the Samaritan woman, hey, can I get a drink of water? And Samaritan woman was like, hey, do you know who I am? I'm a Samaritan, you're a Jew. We ain't supposed to be talking. You feel me? And Jesus was like, man, hey, I just want a drink of water. And she's like, you ain't got nothing to draw the water with. And Jesus was like, if you know who I was, man, you would not only give me water, you know what I'm saying? You would do more. And then Jesus offered her something called living water, which we can equate that to eternity, you know, salvation. And he told some things about himself that no one else would know. Now, when Jesus' disciples came back and found him talking to the Samaritan woman, they ain't said to him, but they was like, what is this dude talking to the Samaritan woman? Do we know that we Jews? In their mind and stuff, right? But Jesus was so raw with it. He didn't care about your color. He didn't care about your ethnicity. He didn't care about any of your background. Not only did he talk to the Samaritan woman at the well, he went back to her village and kicked it for about 2 days. Now, think about this. That's almost like I'm going to be very extreme. That's almost like an extremist group, such as the KKK, coming to kick it in Harlem, you know what I mean, for 2 days on some non-hate stuff and going back to the KKK. And that they knowing that he did this. They'd probably trip, right? That's exactly what Christ was doing back in the day. He was bringing or bridging the gap between races and ethnicities that were separated. Now, another thing that Christ did, you know, you can find it up in Matthew chapter 8, verses 5 through 13. he hollered at a centurion. You know what I mean? Now, let me tell you what a centurion is. Centurion is pretty much a Roman guard, you know, a Roman soldier back in the day. Now, we know there's a difference between Romans and Jews. Matter of fact, to a certain degree, the Romans oppressed the Jews at the time. They was trying to get their freedom back in the day. But this Roman centurion came up to Jesus and said, hey, can you heal my servant? And Jesus was like, yeah, I can heal your servant. You know what I mean? You want me to come to your house? And the Roman was like, nah, man, all you got to do is say the word, I believe. And Jesus was like, you know what? It's done because of your belief. And he says, no other faith like you have in all of Israel. Now, those are two distinctive ethnicities and races, you know what I mean, that wasn't on the same, how you say, copacetic level. And Christ is intervening, doing great things for them, you know what I mean, despite that. So it leads me to ask that question, is Christ racist? Can't be at all. And you know what? Just the cherry on top of the cake, or what is the cherry go on top of icing, or no, ice cream, I'm sorry. The last thing that everyone knows, John 3:16, the verse, I don't care if you're a believer or non-believer. Everyone knows this. You know what? Matter of fact, we're going to throw this verse up on the screen. We're going to read this verbatim, okay? And John 3:16 says this, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. Now, it didn't say whosoever is white, whosoever is black, whosoever is Filipino, whosoever is Asian. It said whosoever believe in him will have everlasting life. And it said also this, God so loved the world. The last time I checked, the world was full of different types of people, different colors, different ethnicities, different cultures, everything. God didn't discriminate. Jesus Christ didn't discriminate. So in conclusion, is Christ racist? Absolutely not. And I don't want that to be a stumbling block or a distraction for you guys, all right, anymore. As usual, leave your comments in your post below. And I got a little something extra for y'all. I want y'all to hear some words from a man that loved Christ, that modeled Christ, and that didn't believe in color, just like Christ. So until next time, remember, Christ is life, so keep it 100.
I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today.
I believe that we will win.
K to the second letter.
Oh yeah.
Let me take it there. Please brag on what you did.